And we don't shake hands because we
we've
show each other. That's, so I'm sure like almost everyone knows BlaBlaCar. Just start with the BlaBlaCar story, a few numbers in just 30 seconds.
Yeah, so today BlaBlaCar is in 19 countries. We have a community of 20 million members. We have offices in 12 locations around the world, and the service goes from Mexico to India and Russia, Turkey, and most of the European countries. It's a company which is doubling in size, in staff size, every year. We are now 300 employees, and we are hiring.
I think we'll talk about this specific topic in another session.
But I promise to not forget to say we're hiring.
You're hiring.
I may say it 10 times.
And you're hiring in New York?
No, we're hiring everywhere in all our offices. Not in New York because the service is not deployed in the US yet. It's not in the plans, but it's really there are explanations for that. I get the question all the time. But,
Okay. Yeah, we're going to have another panel called Reviens Léon about hiring in France, and perhaps not only in international people, but more French people coming back. But that's for the other story. And so why you're not just a European company. For a long time, when especially US media wrote about BlaBlaCar, so it was this little French company and they're expanding to Europe, and so they saw you as a little player. Now that you've expanded to South America, India, you're really like a global tech company, except North America, right?
Yeah, it's been a long expansion strategy. It's still on the way. We are really willing to be global. We've got 29 nationalities in the company. It's really getting global. It was born in France, but it really developed in the Western Europe, and then to other countries. It's a real strategy that we've put in place, and all the fundraisings we've been doing over the years are really going towards that direction.
So, and remind us the last round last year?
The last round was last summer. It was $100 million, just to become more global. Like at each round of financing, we've had one goal. The very first one was to become the leader on the French market for ride-sharing, long-distance ride-sharing. And then it was to show that we would be able to get some traction outside of France and then internationalize a bit, then monetizing the service, and then going global. So each fundraising has had its own goal.
And so next one is IPO?
No, well, you know, the best answer we have for that is we don't have a CFO, so there's no IPO. Because like we get the question all the time. So.
Okay, good answer. You're prepared. So why not specifically in the US?
There are two reasons for that. Well, first, many companies have tried, and it didn't work, including Lyft. Before being named Lyft, it was named DimRide. And DimRide was actually doing exactly what we are doing, at least trying, long-distance ride-sharing. The concept of BlaBlaCar is really sharing a car on distances of several hundred miles and sharing the cost, which is totally different from what exists in the US with Uber and Lyft. It's a different activity. It's much cheaper because it's like 20 times cheaper per kilometer because it's cost sharing. It's not revenue or profit for the driver, so it's totally different. And actually, Lyft, before being named, was SimRide. It's been sold to Enterprise Rent-A-Car. And they pivoted to do Lyft. It's different. So people have tried. And the two reasons why we believe the market in the US is not ready yet for ride sharing are the first one is that at $2 a gallon, there's not much to share for the drivers. It's really cheap. And then the tolls, most of the tolls are free. So there's not much to share for the drivers. So the incentive to share cost is much lower than it is in most European countries and everywhere in the world. And the second reason is the geography. The cities are very spread out. They're very distant from one another. And the fact that they are spread out makes them less concentrated. And the public transit is not as good as in most European cities, which means that the driver needs to go around the city to pick up his passengers and go around the city to drop them off. So he may lose like 30 minutes to an hour just picking up his passengers and dropping them off. And this is creating some additional friction. So the incentive for the drivers to share is financially and logistically not very strong.
Okay. So I want to come back to the question of global expansion, because you have as a strategy to acquire local competitors, and that's the way you expanded in plenty of countries. So is it easier for you to buy than to try to just launch your platform and do a lot of PR and stuff?
Well, it's a very good way to expand when you are able to find a team on the ground with people who are already knowing the landscape, knowing the culture, and highly motivated for ride sharing. So it can make a perfect hire for the local team. Mm-hmm. So when we find teams which are in the same spirit and who can actually develop the service, being the local BlaBlaCar, we love it because it goes faster than creating a whole team from scratch. So yeah, again, we're hiring, and so when we when we go to countries like this and we're able to hire a full team at once, we love it.
Okay.
It goes fast.
And the people you're hiring through acquisition, they're more attached to the concept of ride sharing than to the previous brand they had. There's no kind of deception in being acquired by the competitor.
There is like what they see is that we come with a lot of things that will help them and have them go much faster. They will win like several years because we arrive with a fully developed product with a customer support, which we call member relation, but it's customer support, brand positioning, and also with money. So we are much more than a normal investor. And since actually in France as well, we had a change of name because before being named BlaBlaCar, we were named Covoiturage, but Covoiturage didn't work internationally, so we changed it. So since they've seen that we ourselves, from the early days, have changed in France the name, and we see the power of having a unified brand. When they see that, they understand that, and now it's not an issue anymore because they see that there is much more to earn by having a global brand with the same name everywhere than to try to replicate and create several brands. Plus, we have a lot of cross-border trips. So how would you do if you had two different brands on cross-border trips? Our distances are, in average, 200 miles, so a lot of trips are going cross-borders.
Okay. And one other thing you're really good at, and perhaps not a lot of people know that, is how you build a culture internally at BlaBlaCar. Can you share a bit about this? Because that's kind of a challenge for a lot of companies that are growing.
While growing, we realized that we had to make sure that we keep the same culture, the same motivation, and everything that makes it so that we are super efficient and we are growing fast and we are having fun at the same time. So when we were 60 people in the company, we gathered in the room and then we made some brainstorming around our values. We wanted to extract the values of the team that were making it so fun and so motivating to work for BlaBlaCar. And then those values came out, and then we made some poetry to make them shorter. So we have values like fail, learn, succeed, which is a value which says that failure is part of the learning process which leads to success. We have values like the member is the best, because we know that we are providing a service which has to be the best for our community. We have another value which says fun and serious, which is really the yin and the yang of the motivation and the efficiency of a team, because with individual seriousness, you can have a lot of fun. Whereas if you're not serious individually, you create professional tension. If you create professional tension, you don't create a lot of fun because people don't want to interact with each other or have a beer together. So those kind of values have been very structural. We have 10 of them. We put them on the walls. We put them on stickers, on our computers, and everywhere. It's really super important because it's the DNA of the company, and it helps integration of the newcomers to be integrated in the team much faster. It's really super important, and it's been since we are 60 and now 300. It's been a very strong axis for our progression, and it's the DNA of the company.
Do these values are shared with the community as well?
Yes, but they are shared when the occasion arises, but it's not like a major axis of communication because it's more corporate values. They are clearly perceived as corporate value of team, staff working together. They are not values that can be, well, fun and serious could be really shared in the community as well, but some other ones are really more professionally oriented.
Okay. One of the things you do is not only having these values, is also working on your global expansion, is how you make sure you have all your employees. You 19 offices, right? So
well, we have 12 offices, but we're operating in 19 countries, yeah.
And so you gather every 2 months, I think?
What we do is twice a year we get everybody at the same place.
Everybody?
Like everybody. including the interns and everything, like from India, Mexico, and Russia, in Paris. And once a year, we all go to ski together in the Alps. So like this year, we were like 300 going to ski. It's a lot of logistics, but it's a lot of fun as well for 3 days. So we bring everybody together. It's super important for the spirit of the team. And every 6 to 8 weeks, we have managers meeting. So all the managers from all countries come, but not all the teams. So it's a subset of the international teams.
Okay. So we have a few minutes left. I want to make sure we talk about the markets, the sharing economy. And I was last year when we had this first edition of La French Touch, I was still an entrepreneur in the sharing economy, and I pretty much failed in scaling in the concept of home-cooked meals. How do you see the market of sharing economy? It's not as hype and buzzy anymore. Is it like mature? Do we see? There was a filter in the good concepts, the ones that are able to scale, and all the good ideas that don't have a potential. How do you see the market?
I think the concept of sharing economy could be very, very broad. And we see some areas, so there are the physical goods, like cars and homes, which are the most expensive goods that people own, which can be shared thanks to digital, because it's a new way of making the best usage of our underutilized assets. But then you can also see all the crowdfunding area as being a way to make a better use of your own money. People will be looking for projects to finance instead of putting their money to the bank. And you can also say that the MOOCs are part of the sharing economy because what it is in the end is like sharing the things which are most important to us. So what do we have? We have physical goods, we have time, we have money, and we have education, knowledge. All those things are intangible, well, sometimes tangible like the good physical goods, but the other ones, time, money, and education are less physical. And it's something, well, except for money maybe, well, it depends. And so when you consider this as the main values that we all have individually, and you can consider that you can share this now thanks to digital technologies, you see the entire sharing economy landscape as super broad. And the only thing behind that is optimization and making a sense of the usage of this resource and sharing it.
But what about some limits of the model? One of the, like Uber Pop, and we see something happening in France where basically they're forbidden to execute, but they're still running, and they have some issues with local taxes, and this is called ride sharing.
Yeah, well, this is for this case, it's a regulation issue because so the main difference between what we do, which is cost splitting, and what those services are doing, where the drivers get revenues and profit, and the drivers are actually driving around the passengers wherever they want to. Whereas with ride sharing, the drivers go wherever they want, and then they happen to have 2 or 3 seats available, and then sharing the cost. Again, it's 20 to 100 times cheaper to go on a BlaBlaCar because it's cost sharing than to go with taxi-like services like this. And then the fact that the drivers actually do take passengers and bring them wherever they want on purpose based on the revenue they will make changes the nature of the relationship between the driver and the passenger. The driver becomes someone who provides a service, a transport service, and this is regulated, which is different from just sharing cost. Ride sharing, as we do, is just sharing cost like you would share the cost with your friends and family. So it doesn't change your insurance policy. You don't need a special insurance because it's all covered since you are in the sharing, in the splitting cost space. And also it's not regulated because it's not a service, a transportation service that the driver would do to get some money. So it's totally different. And then when you go on the limit of like providing normal services like taxi, but with the technologies, it's a different approach. It's more like on-demand economy. It's not sharing economy.
So it's already the end. Let's say you come again next year. What can we wish you? Okay, you want to hire pretty much everyone. Okay, that's.
Yeah, we're hiring.
Not in New York.
Well, we're hiring. Well, not in New York because we're not in the US. But I don't know if everybody's based in New York here. We're hiring in several offices, in 12 offices. What can we wish? We can wish, of course, to be that we continue to execute our international expansion. I think it's we have a huge opportunity, especially for a French company started in France, to be a real global player on a worldwide scale. It's pretty rare. What we do does not exist in the US. We are the world leader in our sector. It's pretty rare, and it's good that we have this opportunity. We want to make it real. We want to make it bigger, and we will be in more countries with more traction. And so we have 20 million members today, and we will more than double that, and it will be fine.
Oh, that's all we wish you. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.